Now then, people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all having a great day. It's sunny outside, which means I'm going to be out in that sun as well. I've been to the gym, been on my bike. We're out there. I'm feeling better already. But listen, today we're going to be talking about an interesting transfer update involving Leeds United defender Maximilian Wöber and Borussia Mönchengladbach. So welcome back to the channel. We're here for another Leeds United transfer update. Before we get into it, as is always the case, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. So as we know, folks, Max Wöber spent the past season on loan at Borussia Mönchengladbach and was a regular for their team throughout the campaign. I think in total he played around about 25 times in the Bundesliga, got 5 G&A for a defender, which ain't so bad, and he had a great season for them. He even played well last night for Austria as they topped the group. You know, they secured top spot in Group D that included Holland and France. So, yeah, after his initial horror show, where he scored an own goal and was twisted up all sorts of ways and was subbed off and then rested for the next game, he came back into the fold against Holland and had a very, very good game. Wöber accumulated over 2,500 minutes on the pitch for Mönchengladbach last season. I think he made 1.4 tackles per game and 1.3 interceptions per game on average. Also, his passing accuracy was up towards 87.5%. which shows his ability on the ball and be able to distribute it effectively from the back, which is, I know a lot of centre-backs have that trait these days, but for a team like Mönchengladbach, it's clearly something that they want to retain and keep the services of Max Wöber. And you can see why, of course, the Germans are interested in signing him permanently. But there's a massive catch, and that massive catch is Leeds United, is the 49ers, is Parag Marate not being taken for mugs like the previous regime under Radrizzani and Orta, because our demands are proving to be a problem. Leeds want their money, baby, and so they should. You know, he's our player. We're in a great financial position. We can see that because we're not in any rush to sign any of our big ticket items, Somerville, Nonto, Gray, etc. We're only 4 days now out from the 1st of July, which is when the deadline for PSR is, and all we've done is get rid of, you know, bit parts or them loanees, if you like, which Max Wöber obviously falls into, but we're not in a rush to do deals, which will be painstaking for clubs like, you know, Mönchengladbach. But I'm so happy as a Leeds United fan that we can hold firm and say, listen, if you want our player, then you're going to have to pay. And according to, I think it's Rheinisches Post, it's a publication in Germany, you know my pronunciation ain't the one, Rheinische, it's not currently realistic for Borussia Mönchengladbach to meet Leeds' asking price. The current market value is set around about 10 million, which is roughly what we paid for him just 18 months ago. And I believe you could argue, because of the season he's had and he's standing at the Euros and the fact that Austria are doing well and could go deep into the competition, that his valuation's gone up, not down. You know, he's not gone backwards like a Rasmus or an Aronson, for example. Now, according to the report, they're willing to pay a high single-digit million sum, but Leeds want significantly more than that. Clearly, we want double digits, at least what we paid for him, right? Or more. You could be talking between 10 to 15 million. And I think that's a fair price, considering we paid that for him just 18 months ago, and as I've just mentioned, his valuation's gone up. If they want to pay high single-digit numbers, what we talking, 7, 8? Like 9. If you're paying 9, you might as well just fucking give us 10 if that's what we're asking. But I'd feel that it's probably more than the 10 because, you know, if they can go up to a 9, you'd think, all right, we can work with this, we can do a deal. So I love the fact that Leeds United is saying, listen, if you want to pay for him, you're going to have to give us double digits of millions. If not, on your way, Mönchengladbach. Bye-bye. And according to the report, talks are at a standstill, and Wöber himself hasn't heard anything about a potential permanent transfer to the German club. We know he'll want his future sorted out, although he said, and according to reports, said, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, he might not want to talk about it, but still his agent's going to be working in the background to try and get this deal done. Mönchengladbach would have hoped Leeds United might have been in financial issues so they could push it through, because these are the sort of deals that if we were in PSR, FFP issues, we'd be going, yeah, we just need to take that so we can clear the books. But thankfully, due to Red Bull, we've got that big investment. We've got Harrison off. We've got Rocker out of the way. Llorente, potentially, we can stand fast on Wöber and say, nah, nada. So in conclusion, folks, it could well be that Max Wöber has to return to Ellen Road this summer. The thing is with Max Wöber, he can play at left back, right centre back, or left centre back. It seems likely at this moment in time, given the impasse in negotiations, that he is going to come back to Ellen Road. Now, of course, other potential suitors have not explicitly yet been mentioned, but you would imagine there will be other clubs looking at Max Wöber because he's had a great season and he can be got for what I would consider a decent price. I know Mönchengladbach think we're asking for too much. I would disagree. This is an international footballer who's playing on an international stage who had, over 28, I think, in total appearances over the course of the season for Borussia Mönchengladbach and did well. His stats back that up. It's definitely one worth keeping an eye on, as the situation rolls on, as the transfer window starts to really get into gear. I think it'll really kick off from the 1st of July. I think we're going to see a lot of business start to come through from Leeds United, both incomings and outgoings. But this story, this situation in particular, is going to rumble on. It feels like it's been rumbling on for 6 months, that Borussia Mönchengladbach have said, we can't afford. Trying to really get that out there in the press to maybe force Leeds into reducing their asking price, but it ain't going to happen, is it? It's definitely one that we have to look at, because if no one is going to meet the asking price, then guess what, Max? You're staying put. Whether or not Farke will allow him back into the fray, it's going to be interesting, because we know he's let Aronson back, but I think a lot of that is due to the fact that Aronson didn't really ever get to have a conversation with Farke. As far as we're aware, both Wöber and Christensen played in a behind-the-closed-doors friendly against Barnsley, and Wöber was given the captaincy that day as well, and from what we hear on the grapevine, he was said, you will be my captain, and he was like, yeah, I'm up for staying. Then a couple of weeks later, he hot tails it out of here. So it'd be interesting to see. But listen, football's fickle. A manager might look at it and say, could I do with Max Wöber? Does that mean we then have to fork out massive money on Rodon? Probably not. But yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye on, because this saga, this player, it could have a massive impact on our season. Because as much as I'm not a fan of Wöber, but would he work in the Championship? Yeah, you would probably argue yes, and he'd probably be a massive plus to have in the side, and it'd probably mean we wouldn't have to then go fork out more money on another centre-back, and we can use that money elsewhere. So it's going to have massive impact on our season, but I want you to let me know in the comments, do you think Leeds United will find a situation in which they can move Max Wöber on? Should we accept a little bit less, or should we stand tall and say, unlucky Max, you're playing for us next season? Would you be happy with that? You've seen how I've reacted to the Aronson thing. I just think that he's going to work like a hand does in a glove, I can't lie to you. I'm not so sure on the Wöber one. He probably would improve us, though. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds.